So there was a go live button in the top corner that I didn't see. I was sitting here talking, asking if you guys could hear me for like 2 minutes. Someone in the chat just pop in that you can now hear me and see me, please. Oh yeah, there we go. Is the audio level okay? Is it too loud or too quiet? Just keep me updated in the chat, guys. Perfect. How's everyone doing? Thanks so much for coming and hang out on the first night of the Sob Rock Tour. It's pretty exciting. I got the hoodie that I pretty much live in since I got it. Oh, this is pretty wicked. I'm super stoked. Got a few buddies on the ground in Albany right now. Just sending some pics I'll be able to actually share with you guys, which is going to be awesome. Perfect. All right. Well, let's get into it. I don't really have a plan for tonight. Just as long as we're having fun and a good time, we'll just keep going with it. So I'm going to share one of the first pics actually from Albany tonight with you guys that I've gotten. So that is Jeremy with the Nebula Silver Sky. John's already making me wish I didn't sell mine, because I think that's what he's going to be opening with tonight. And then clearly you guys can see I got a better picture of it. I'll show later or in a little bit, but the background amp setup hasn't changed. We got the Bandmaster, whether or not that's Dumble modded or not, I don't know. Steel String 0004, and then the 2 Rock Mirror Signature. And then the cabinets are the same, like with Shure SM7s. Yeah. I can't tell on my screen this image, but I assume it's the same ones as before. That was Alejandro I thought it was Alejandro for a second. That's awesome. Kind of does look like him with the COVID mask on. I guess I shouldn't say that, or else look at YouTube doesn't like using the C word. That C word. Hey Tommy, yeah. It's funny. He's like, oh, you know, Cory Wong, here you go. You can have my only one. And then I'm sure 5 minutes later, he called up Paul being like, hey, I need another Nebula for the tour. Probably what happened. It's John, right? I know for a fact when I had my Nebula and I was kind of like concerned about the finish issues, I got in contact with PRS and they were like, we can refinish it for you. We're able to repaint them, and theoretically it means they can make more of them if they wanted to. The price was extraordinarily high, but it's possible. So I'm sure for John, they made it happen. Wonder why he's not using his signature JMod 100. It's kind of one of those things where the JMod it's an interesting amp, right? Because John kind of came in a little late into the design of it, from my understanding at least. Don't totally quote me on that, but he kind of came into it late, and it became his signature amplifier, mainly for, I guess, Dead & Company. And he'll probably never say, but I think a lot of us can agree that the tones he was getting out of the Search for Everything weren't the best he's ever had. And the fact that he's now moved away from using it completely, it looks like, hasn't used it for years with Dead & Company. Now, his next, like this solo tour, he's clearly not using it. So I do think it's been phased out. And I'm pretty sure they're not making the amps anymore either. So they will probably start to skyrocket in value, I feel like, but not like the 25 JM Sig 2 Roxwell. But yeah, it's interesting. I don't think we'll really ever see that amp again, to be quite honest. I think it's been totally phased out. But during the 2019 World Tour, we got to remember too, that was actually going into the 112 cab on stage, even though it was on the left-hand side 212. It was actually wired into the 112. So it wasn't even being used like it kind of looked like it was in a full-size cab. It's kind of interesting. Hey, Brian. Yeah, man, me too. I like the tone from the Sirius XM gig. I think in my mind, I keep going back to the Search for Everything, and I'm way happier with what we're getting. I do understand a lot of people, and myself included, think it was a bit brittle and bright. The bright switch of the 2-Rock was actually on during that show, which was kind of interesting. But yeah, we'll see. If he brings out a Fender, which I doubt, it'd be really cool to see what the tone is like through a guitar like that. Thoughts on the new Charcoal Frost prototype? I love it. If you guys saw my video on it, I was dying. I love Charcoal Frost Metallic on the Mare Sig Strat that they did. I loved it. And some people think like the stripe is corny, but I really like it, and just that kind of shade of Strat as a whole. So this one I really like. I definitely wouldn't sell my Nebula. My camera's like mirrored, so I gotta do the opposite of what I'm seeing on the screen. I wouldn't sell my not my Nebula, my Moxand Satin for it one, but maybe in the future, if they do some other changes to Silver Sky, it'd be kind of nice to have one from two different kind of like versions of the model, I guess. '64 and Slow Dancing or Satin Space Gray Silver Sky. If we see any Fender Strats, it's going to be either the 64 or the black one. Black one might make a rare appearance for Gravity. 64 might make a rare appearance for maybe Helpless or Slow Dancing, but other than that, I don't know. That part of me is kind of thinking we might hardly ever see a Fender on stage this tour, to be quite honest. It's the way it's looking. Sorry, guys. The chat's getting a little away from me. I'm trying my best to answer everything here. How does a Morning Glory sound for jam tone? I've never personally played one, and I don't like to give a ton of feedback on something I've never played or heard myself in like a room. But it's a Bluesbreaker clone. Josh Scott knows what he's doing. It's going to sound brilliant. I say if you're considering one, go for it. Hey, Sean, how you doing, man? He's on stage now playing. Oh, man, I'm so jealous of everyone who's going to see him tonight. A bunch of the guys, like Tommy and the London guitarist, and some of those guys are going to go see him in Madison Square Garden this weekend. Super jealous. But I got tickets to LA at the Forum, so I'll be seeing him really soon. And I'm so stoked. So stoked. This is an interesting one from Brent here. Yeah, rest in peace, Alexander Howard Dumble. I don't know if John's needing a new amp right now. Like, I know I had fun with the thumbnail and the title of that little custom 20 PRS combo amp being like, oh, is this the new signature John Mayer amp? I don't think he needs one right now. His kind of main foundation for amps is, you know, as we know, the Dumble, the Fender, and the 2-Rock. So I don't think right now he needs a new one. I wouldn't rule it out, but right now, especially with the JMod kind of being a bit of a sales disaster, I can't really see them making one right now, at least. I'm just going to take a moment here and let's look at the amp rig as a whole now. Bring this guy up now. And if anyone sees anything else online, because I'm in the live stream and won't be able to see anything anyone's posting, if you guys can link it in the chat actually down below, that'd be wicked. So then I can bring it up for everyone to see. Alrighty, here's the good shot of the amp setup here, guys. Better one. This is from my buddy Robert. He's front row right now. Like, so jealous. So jealous. You know which finish a third quarter 2020 Silver Sky would have? Third quarter of 2020, that'll 100% be Nitro. They switched to Nitro going into 2019 into 2020. I believe, correct me in the chat if I'm wrong, guys, but that's when they started to switch. And the dates are kind of all over the place. You'll see someone with a Nitro finish Silver Sky that was made in the summer of, I think, 2019, maybe. Dates I'm kind of getting confused up. But yeah, that will for sure be Nitro. My Nebula was Nitro, and it was a second quarter 2021. So that'll be for sure. For sure in 2020, they were all Nitro at that point. Hey, Gino. How you doing, man? Yeah, that's kind of the number one question that I'm hoping as the night kind of goes on, we'll see what happens if he's actually going to play Fender or not. You could see some pictures. No, I guess I'm not sure if everyone's seen these, but you could see I think Alex was the tech, Alex Averas. I'm probably butchering his name, but he was kind of the tech for that Palladium show. You could see him actually holding the black one in some footage before the show actually started, and he was working and tuning up the black one before the show started, but clearly it never got played. So John's obviously got them with him, but is he going to play them? I don't know. He's opening with the Nebula. Sob Rock Era just posted it. Oh my God. Arthur, I assume that's on Instagram? Probably. Hey, Ryan, you and me both, man. I'm nowhere near Toronto, so for a lot of shows, it makes more sense for me just to fly to the States anyway at this point, because most bands think Canada's all just Toronto, but it's not. Come on. The Foo Fighters are doing a Canada-wide tour in September. They're doing like Montreal, I think Ottawa, Toronto, Saskatoon, Winnipeg, Calgary, Edmonton, Penticton, then like Vancouver and Vancouver Island or something like that. It's amazing. It's like Dave and the boys are great. I'm definitely going to see the Foos when they come in September, but I just wish more bands would be like them. And just, we got a decent amount of people in Canada. You can, if you're a good band, you'll still sell out. It's probably just a pain to bring your gear up here, but come on. Everyone be like Dave. Bands out there, be like Dave. Hey, Marcus, how you doing? Send Space Gray the unofficial name for it. That's what, in the video I made on it, I had a piece and I edited it out where I grabbed my laptop, my MacBook, just Space Gray, and was like, oh, you know, it kind of looks like this. But then I cut it out because I didn't want to be that guy comparing everything to Apple, but I definitely thought that too. Yeah, he opened with Last Train Home. That's what I kind of had a feeling might be the opener. What do you guys think is going to be the closer? If it's Last Train Home opening, what's going to be the closer? How long did the initial Silver Skies have a slightly different color on the inner lower horn? That was kind of the first year they did them. So you'd have your Horizon, your Frost, your Onyx, and your Tungsten. But the only one that it was really noticeable on was the Onyx, where it kind of had a bit more of a silver shine to it. I don't think the other ones really, if it was that noticeable. It was mainly the Onyx kind of had that really unique piece. And then if you actually look at the Nebula, when I had mine, the dead-on pretty much view of it would always be the dark blue for the body, and then the horn would glow that pink color, kind of like the Shadow prototype, if you guys remember that one John had in 2019. It was kind of like that, which is really wicked. I'm missing the Nebula now. Okay, black one. Let's quickly talk about that because a lot of people, I think, in the chat are asking about it. The black one, unfortunately, the neck has warped on it 3 times now. John had the original neck, which warped. He got a replacement neck, which had an issue. And then the third neck didn't work either. I'm not sure why, I guess it was warping on the other two, but they all had issues. And they're all built by John Cruz. So as good of a replacement neck as you can get. And he initially swapped the original neck back on. So since, I believe, mid-2017, whenever you've seen him with the black one, it's actually with the original neck that's warped. So I don't think that guitar has a lot of miles left to go, to be quite honest, in terms of a nightly playing guitar. Unfortunately, I think that's just the reality that John's facing, and that's why he'll bring it out occasionally for a special show or for Gravity or something like that, but then it's got to go back in because the more he plays it, the less time that original neck probably has before it's unplayable, or to the point where it doesn't make sense for him to play it live. So there's probably going to be a point where that guitar might be fully retired. I hope not, but it's kind of the reality. This is a really interesting question. Do you think PRS would ever offer the Silver Sky as a private stock auction? I was actually kind of looking forward to this maybe being a reality, getting some Brazilian rosewood fretboard options, maybe some different pickups in it, different finishes, kind of stuff like that. I thought that'd be really cool to kind of see what the PRS private stock can do for a Silver Sky. I think naturally the first way they had to go was making an SE model, make it more accessible for everyone, and then go the opposite end and kind of your ultra boutique crazy PRS thing. I don't know how the Silver Sky would look with like a really crazy flamed or like quilted body though. I don't know. Maybe eventually. That was Alex Averes. I think that was his name during the Palladium show. He's another big time tech for a few artists. I don't know, to be honest. I think that was Alejandro who mentioned it to me that that's who he thought it was. So, but yeah, that wasn't Renee. If Renee was back, we'd see him tonight, and Jeremy was back. Hey Arthur, can you shoot that to me on my Instagram, like DM that to me? I can't see it in the chat for some reason. I don't understand why, but if we can get that, then I'll bring that up. I agree. Gravity to close. Oh, actually, well, I think Gravity's a good one to close it on, but I think it'll be Gravity to close, and then there'll be a break maybe for an encore, and then New Light. Kind of seems on brand for how he's closing shows now. Just kind of a fun one to close on, but I don't think it's the my first choice for a closing song. Congrats on the studio signature, man. That's huge. These 2 Rock amps are just, yeah, they're wicked, man. Congrats. You're gonna love it. Yes, this was actually something I wanted to talk about. I think the best tone from the Palladium show was the Belief one. Let's see if I can bring that up for you guys here. This is a software that I got a free trial on too. And then if the live stream's a success, which so far it is, then I'll get like a better version of it too and get more familiar with how to actually use it. Can you guys hear the audio from John? Okay, you know what? See, this is growing pains of learning how to do a live stream. Okay. Okay, I got an idea. Bear with me 1 second, guys. I got an idea. Take the AirPods out. And then let you guys hear my audio. That last run he plays, where he plays like half the run, stops, half the run, stops, full thing, launching into it. When I first heard, that's my favorite part of the whole performance. It was just epic. It was just so epic. Just let this play in the background. I definitely think it's going in that direction, all of his tones. If you kind of look at the Continuum Tour, Battle Studies, Born and Raised, it's kind of a linear tone progression, as a lot of artists have. Search for Everything kind of goes off in its own direction. And then we have kind of a correction with the 2019 World Tour, which I think was some of the best tones since Continuum. And then this era, I think, is going to be brilliant too. Yeah, there's some ask about John Cruz. John Cruz is kind of a character. You can read up on it online. A lot of people have a lot of things to say about John Cruz, I'll say. Yeah, essentially, Fender let him go over some kind of comments he made about political and sensitive issues over the past little while, and he let him go. I'm sure you guys have all seen that. Remember that video he did where he talked about John, and I think he had Jessica like Simpson came into the Fender custom shop with him, and you kind of get a feel for what John Cruz was kind of like just from that video. Yeah, I'll leave it at that. Yeah, it'd be super cool if he did do some trio stuff, but I can't see it happening. Unfortunately, I know Steve Jordan was like, didn't he say, you guys, that he didn't want to tour? And he kind of, due to the unfortunate circumstances with what happened with, the Rolling Stones, he kind of found himself filling in for the rest of the entire tour with them. But maybe that kickstarts his love for touring again. I don't know. There we go. I don't trust myself. Getting into some Continuum stuff. I feel like it'll be, when you watch the interview from this Sirius XM Pandora thing with Andy Cohen. I freaking love Andy Cohen. It's going to be a ton of Sob Rock. And then the snippets, like he says, the stuff that he's got to play almost every night. Gravity, Slow Dancing. I feel like a lot of the Continuum stuff, like I don't trust myself with Loving You. That's almost a song he's got to play almost every night, I think. Edge of Desire is up there too, that people want to hear every night. There's majority of people who want to hear that stuff. Just gonna check here. Yeah, and if any of you guys do see anything that's going on, just DM me on Instagram or something so I can actually okay, bringing up something from. Okay, no, I don't want to get Twitter. I don't have Twitter, but it's making me want to get Twitter. Okay, 1 second. I'm sending a link to my computer. Okay. Oh, come on. No! For God's sake. Okay, that was working there, right? Oh my God. Sorry, guys. Your boy is having issues. Oh, Jesus. Okay, it's not liking when I go into full screen on this. I'm trying to full screen it for you guys. Oh, for God's sake. Point being, shot in the dark on the nebula. He's just totally looking like Clapton and how he's dressing for this tour. Thank you. Thank you guys. Whoever's in like the European time zones. Thanks for tuning in. That's amazing. So underneath that bridge of the Silver Sky that we had from the Palladium show, it said Prototype Silver Sky Advanced Research Division. Kind of a interesting thing. He's almost poking fun at maybe the fact that, yeah, you know, I'm road testing stuff like Pierce Proof. So I'm not sure if there are new pickups or whatever. Obviously, it's a new finish, but other than that, impossible to tell right now. Yeah, total Clapton vibes with that suit. Mary Moods is there, so watch out for IG clips. Okay, sounds good. What's right behind me? That's actually a oh, that one there. That one is a Fender Special Run 2007 reverse headstock Strat. It's kind of a nod to the proto from the 80s that John had that he played with the trio and on Where the Light Is for the bunch of the Hendrix stuff. It's totally stock right now, but I got a bunch of upgrades that are coming, and that will be a future clip on my channel. I just haven't had time to work on the guitar and get it to where I want, like just like simple stuff, but I'm probably going to change the pickups, the guard, all the knobs, everything like that, and kind of have some fun with it, and you know, maybe even the tuners, and just kind of turn it into a kind of more of an actual prototype version like he had, obviously just a special run back in 07. Yeah, great guitar. I actually love it. It's my first maple board guitar I've ever had, and it's really fun. Yeah, and then if you meant the white Strat on the wall behind me, that's my Fender Mayor signature one. I've had that one since 2011, November 2011, but I barely played guitar back then. Not like I do now. Yeah, if we got Crossroads, that'd be amazing. It kind of fits the whole vibe of Clapton, the 80s, his cover of Crossroads. Why not bring it back in? I know for a fact that the NG2 is not present to well, the Palladium show wasn't present. Tonight, I can't say if it's there or not. I haven't seen a good enough picture of the board yet to tell, but I don't know. It'd be nice if it was. I love this watch. I know some people bought them to flip or whatever, but I got mine, and that day I put it on. It's the only watches I wear, this and the white one. I have a couple other like nicer, dressier watches, but just for everyday use, I just throw it on and it's super convenient. He actually can. That was part of the design of, one second. So part of the design of the headstock of the Silver Sky and why it is the way it is on most PRS guitars, the kind of horns on the top of the headstock are flipped around. And then that way he would have had a lot less room to maneuver. But on this, he's got plenty to actually go up and comfortable too with his hand and grip. So that was part of, they said at least that was part of the design of the headstock. There was a 6-sided one that was prototyped, and they didn't do that for obvious reasons. There would have been way more hate. As far as other gear in general on the channel, I don't know. I'm kind of branching into John Frusciante stuff. He's one of my other biggest influences, hence why I got my Marshall out and running again, instead of just kind of being off to the side and kind of in view, but not really. I kind of want to start to branch out and talk about different stuff. Mayor is kind of my main passion and what I wanted to focus on, giving you guys the content, because so much stuff to talk about. When I start talking about other people, it takes away from all the things I could talk about John, and for a lot of the reason why you guys subscribe to my channel. So Mateus, I like him. I'm not like super into his gear or his playing or anything like that. I haven't taken the big deep dive, but certainly some people, if you guys want it, I can start to talk about, like, when the Chili Peppers tour kicks off, I'll definitely do some talk about John Frusciante. The next video that's actually coming out on my channel is about John Frusciante's 1962 Strat. I'm going to do a series that's called, like, I think I'm going to call it Guitar Stories. And I'm going to take a really cool guitar from a famous artist, and I'm going to just do a deep dive and get a ton of research on it, a ton of pictures, and kind of talk about the guitar's history up until present day. So I got some images of John with his 62 Strat from 1999, when he first rejoined the Peppers back, talking about kind of the story of how he got the guitar and up to present day. Just a quick fun video highlighting a wicked guitar. Hey Tom, how you doing, man? All the songs in real time on Reddit. Okay, I'll have to check that out. 1 second, guys. Let's bring up Reddit. Like, use Reddit for like 3 things, like Star Wars, sneakers, and like games, like video games. I haven't logged in on my computer. Before I bring up the set list, are you guys okay with me talking about it? Because I know some people who like might be seeing them even this weekend might think that's a spoiler. If you guys think that's a spoiler, just leave your thoughts in the comments on that, because then I won't bring up the set list. I don't want to spoil anything for you guys or not. This one from Antonio. Am I in a band? Do I perform? No. I've never played a gig in my life. The closest thing I have to a band is a few buddies that I like to jam with and play. Sometimes we get a drummer out, stuff like that, and it's just fun. I need to get playing with people more. Obviously, the whole incident, you know, the thing we've been dealing with for the past 2 years now, kind of really delayed me actually getting out and jamming with people. Things were starting to kind of start off, and then obviously you couldn't really do a whole lot with restrictions on gathering and everything like that. I started a new job, like 6-7 weeks ago now, and it's awesome. I'm loving it, for one, but a bunch of people there are musicians. Actually, like, one guy's a professional drummer, and he doesn't play in a band anymore or anything like that, but he's been wanting to get back into it. So might start like a work band. Bring a ton of John Mayer to that for sure. Gear is irrelevant. I know everyone likes to joke about gear being in the hands or in the what you have, but if you can make what you have sound good, that's all that matters, and have a good time doing it. I mean, we all start somewhere too, right? Like, I obviously didn't start with this. So you start somewhere, and you eventually work your way to it. But I'm sure your gear sounds great, man. Thanks, Leonardo. If I can find some footage, maybe that could be a quick, like, 2-minute video on my channel, just being like, hey, like, seeing him actually do that, and maybe even talking about that technique. Maybe I'll Do a video on that. I know. I was really worried about that. Any Canadian dates for any show right now, I'd be a bit worried about. I think Mammoth, like Wolfgang Van Halen's band, they have a Canadian run going on, but I think they had to move everything back as well and start the show kind of halfway through what the run was supposed to be. We'll see. Where I'm living, though, everything's supposed to open up March 1st, like open. So we'll see if that happens. I know, it's hilarious. My two favorite guitarists are John Frusciante and John Mayer. Hopefully if I have a kid, a boy, name him John. No, I started off liking, actually, my two main influences when I first started playing guitar were Slash and Jimmy Page. Kind of Les Paul's behind me. That was my thing. Low sung Les Paul into like a Marshall style amp, maybe a wah pedal. I had like that red, bright red, shiny Slash signature wah pedal. That was pretty much it. And that was just amazing. And then one of my good buddies, Josh, from school, I would have been probably in grade 9 or 10. He was like, dude, you got to watch Where the Light Is by John Mayer. You got to watch it. And I was like, dude, like, I was totally that guy. I was like, this guy's like Jack Johnson. Like, come on. Like, I like rock and roll, like Night Train, Whole Lot of Love, those kind of songs, like AC/DC, everything like that. Joe Perry, those guys. Got the DVD. I watched it. My dad got it for me, watched it, and that changed everything for me. I never heard a better guitar sound in my life. And right then, I thought maybe a Strat's for me. And then that's kind of how I got the Mayer Sig Strat. And the rest has been history. Yeah, Prototype Silver Sky, and then actually underneath it says Advanced Research Division. Someone I know, blanking, said that it could be a nod to like Patek or one of the other watch brands. Could be cool. Yeah, Ariel Posen's amazing. I got to meet him and chat with him for a little bit at his show in town here right before the everything. Wicked dude, super nice. Just he was amazing, super humble. We chatted about 2 Rock amps for a bit because he told me he went there to kind of help prototype and kind of test out like the new generation of flagship amps, being the traditional clean one of them. And I told him I was considering getting one of those, and he was like, dude, you got to. It's my favorite amp out of all the ones I make right now. He said personally for him, it's the one he likes the most. And then when I ordered mine, I tried to get it exactly actually to his spec, because the carbon was an option, the carbon fiber option, just like Mayer's Sig. But I was like, no, I'm not sure if I want it, because I feel like almost everyone's doing that option. So I want to do something different. And I was like, well, the Vox diamond grill cloth on Ariel Posens with the jet black piping and everything looks brilliant. And then that's when I think Vox sent 2 Rock a little letter being like, hey, we're not a fan of you guys doing that. And then they couldn't. So at that point, I kind of just said, well, spec it how you guys want to spec it. And then it ended up turning into kind of like the old like CRS. Just classic 2 Rock look. And I actually am super stoked that I got that one. I personally like it better than the, what is it, the Black Sparkle Matrix traditional clean finish. I personally like this better, but get what you like if you're getting one. Yeah, totally. I think that'd be awesome to talk about some of SRV's stuff, even like Mayer's SRV Strat. Talk about his, that he bought his first guitar when he's working at that gas station. Because a lot of people get the SRV Strat and then Mayer's 64 mixed up, because they kind of visually look a little bit similar with like the bursts on a tort guard. So maybe I'll add that one then too. Yes, totally. Chris Shiflett's awesome. And that's a wicked, God, I keep doing this. It's a wicked Telecaster too. That one behind me. Super fast board. The humbuckers are great in it. That'd be another cool one. And even talk about Dave Grohl's Trini Lopez inspired DG355. That'd be a cool one too. Dude, I live and breathe Star Wars. My life revolves around guitar and John Mayer specifically, working out, and then like Star Wars. My girlfriend and I went as the Mandalorian and Ahsoka for Halloween this past year. I got like the Black Series helmet and everything. It was hilarious. It was so awesome. And yeah, Star Wars is the best. I feel like I'm falling behind on the chat a bit. Oh my God. Nathan, Fender custom shop pickups that get to sound like Mayor. Message my buddy Tommy at Tommy Guitars on Instagram. Tommy's awesome, and he's the pickup guy. I'm not the pickup guy. He's the guy to ask, and he'll put you in the right direction for sure. Anyone ever experienced volume loss when turning on the Octopus Mark II or III? Just noticed this today. Didn't change anything on my board. I think there's like a little bit that's noticeable, but nothing extreme. Because some pedals, depending on what they are, when you turn them on or off, you might experience a slight drop or raise in volume, but nothing insane. If anyone's got any ideas on that, put in the chat. Yeah, 52 Telly. If you guys like that series idea, just going kind of nuts over one guitar's history, a lot of images and pictures over the years, definitely I can do a bunch of those. Yeah, 100%. He's definitely done it. I just don't know if I'm pretty good for being like a mental database for John Mayer stuff, but that I'm blanking on. Any hopes for me for the tour? Gino, I think your list is pretty bang on. I mean, now that Steve Jordan's kind of retired, I'm very grateful and very happy that I got to see him in 2017 when I got to see the three of them. Of course, seeing Who Did You Think I Was or Good Love Is on the Way would have been like a grail song for me to have heard live, but fortunately my show, he didn't do that. But I got to hear Bold as Love with the trio, which was pretty wicked, and see the Monterey and his 19, was it the 60 hardtail or the 59 hardtail that was used on Where the Light Is too, the Hendrix one for E flat tuning. Those are two guitars. This year, I don't know. I'd love to see Heartbreak Warfare performed live. I think that's just a wicked tune. The original version, not the 2019 version, I was not a fan of that. The Charvel San Dimas was cool, but that wasn't Heartbreak Warfare. It was kind of its own, I guess, an evolution of the song. That would be a grail song for me to hear. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like the set list that I saw him, he had a lot of stuff. Gear wise, I don't know either. I was kind of hoping for the Vibro Verb, to be honest. I'm a massive trio fan, and kind of back to the trio rig would have been cool. You know, actually, gear wise, he's not going to do it, but playing the Proto again, that'd be wicked for some Hendrix stuff. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm getting behind the chat here, guys. I'm an AC30 guy and use Telly Strats and a 335. That's wicked. Golden Archer, J-Rocket Dude, J-Rocket Touch, and use a T-Rex Alberta, Fat B, DD6, and Qtron. How'd you train those? Okay. What is the Rocket Touch? How I would do it is, the Dude is more of a Dumble-inspired thing, so that would be maybe my last overdrive, and then the Golden Archer, the icon before it. Any sort of clean boost, put the Qtron in between the Golden, the Archer icon and the Dude, and then delays, whatever else after that. Fat B, is that Beatronics? It's a fuzz, go near the front. Guys, if you guys have any suggestions too, if you know those pedals a little bit better than I do, feel free to give DuckTales, woohoo, 1987 a hand in the chat. What I think about SSH Strats. I'm not a fan of those kind of guitars personally. The ones I've played, my buddy's got one that's actually a ringer, and it's the only one that I've ever played that I've liked or messed around with that I liked. I just would rather bring a dual humbucker guitar and a Strat to a gig if I played a gig personally. I don't gig, so if I gigged, then it'd be maybe a bit of a different deal for if you're hauling around gear. But for me, just doing what I do, I personally would rather just swap guitars. Talking about Silver Sky with that, I think it's actually a possibility that that might happen in the future. Even though it's a John Mayer thing, right now it's not going to happen, but years in the future, as we kind of know they want it to become its own thing, maybe we'll get one eventually. You can mod them like that now, but possible. Why did John Mayer have a falling out with T-Rock? Out of respect for Eli, I'm not going to touch this one. The old management of T-Rock, before they got bought out from Premier Builders Guild, they they had a deal with John and they broke it. And John's definitely the kind of guy where if you don't respect his name, you don't respect the relationship, he's going to not want to work with you again. That's all I'm going to say. The current ownership of 2 Rock, Eli, is wicked. I know he is doing everything he can to right that relationship with John because he had nothing to do with it. He was someone who just kind of worked with the company before, and he wasn't really in the decision-making process that led to the falling out. But the new ownership, they're doing everything they can. They're great guys, so don't ever blame 2 Rock now for what happened. Eli's not the guy involved. He's great. They're best amps in the world, man. Sorry, Gabe. Yeah. Book of Boba Fett as a whole, not the biggest fan of, to be honest. Dave and John, I like praise, but I don't think the Book of Boba Fett as a whole was that concise. I think they honestly could have done a bit better of a job. It was still great content, better than the sequels, in my opinion, by a massive margin. But I don't know. When I sat back afterwards as a whole, I was kind of like, it was good, but Boba talked too much. He wasn't quite the Boba you'd expect. And I don't want to spoil it for anyone if you haven't seen it, but just what happened, I felt like undid The Mandalorian a little bit, and what was supposed to happen, I don't know. That's me. It's going to be, you guys aren't going to guess it. It's Clarity off of Heavier Things. That song, the first time I heard it, I feel like everyone almost has a comfort song that they can play over and over again, and it almost relaxes you. Bit of an interesting fact about me. I'm a very nervous flyer. I don't like to get on a plane. I don't know what it is. Maybe I watched too many Mayday episodes on the Discovery Channel when I was a kid. I don't know, but it freaks me out. And it hasn't stopped me from traveling. I've been to Europe. I've been a lot of places. And it doesn't stop me from going anywhere, but I just get very nervous and I can't relax and I get very uncomfortable. And Clarity is that comfort song for me. I'll put it on and it just relaxes me. And that actually, to go back to, I think Gina was the one who asked about stuff to hear. If I could go to a concert and be like, John, I want you to play something, play Clarity. I've tried to learn it on acoustic and it's way harder than it looks. For me, I'm just not that good on acoustic. Hey, thanks, man. Wait. Oh, all right. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm trying to get some good content and change things up for you guys. Have some fun. Dominic, do you think you really play an SE on this tour? I do. If John says he's going to do something, he's going to do it. He's got that integrity in whatever he does, he's going to do it. I'm not worried about that. Are his SEs identical to the one you can go in the store and buy? That's the question. And I'm not going to really say anything on that, but I don't know. It's kind of like the whole thing, or his on stage, exactly what you get in a store. I think he's going to play SEs. I don't know exactly. Yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. So one guitar and amp, anything you'd want, you choose if you had to stick with for the rest of your life. It's a cool question. A Strat. As much as I love Les Pauls and Joe Bonamassa and that kind of rock and roll kind of side of me, Strat's where I found is my home. And honestly, just like a 2 Rock. Give me like a traditional clean or even a Bloomfield or an old CRS with a gain channel. I'll be happy. I'll be happy with that. All right, which songs did John use fuzz pedals with and where did he put it in the signal chain? So John, up until this tour, has used only 3 fuzz pedals ever. The NG2, the Full-Tone Octafuzz, and the Full-Tone 69. Both Full-Tone pedals were from the 1990s. They're vintage. One second. They look like this. The old school versions, like the big box, they're actually really heavy. The enclosure they make, they're really heavy. He's used those. Like all along the Watchtower and Born and Raised was with this and maybe some like random solos. He just decided to kick it on. Full-Tone 69 fuzz was for some performances of Wait Till Tomorrow with the trio. Not all of them, but if I remove this comment, you see it down there on my trio board that's not done yet. That's that one there. And then the NG2 for Crossroads and a few other jams. Gravity. I think I want to do another video, even just like breaking down some songs really quickly. It takes so much time to make videos like that, but Gravity is the Blues Breaker song. It's not clean amp. It's the Blues Breaker. And I found there was this one clip of him jamming. I think it was with Abbey Studios when he's doing rehearsals for it. And you actually can hear him at the very end go, after he's playing the intro riff for Gravity, hey, can you turn the Blues Breaker up a little bit? And then that's how, oh my God, he's using the Blues Breaker for Gravity. I assume you're talking about The Empire Strikes Back. That's a great one. I'm a nut for the Clone Wars, though. Gabe. Oh, I knew you were going to say that. Yeah, I'm not a fan of the sequels at all, personally. I'm one of those guys who still thinks that they're going to retcon it out. I'm one of those guys. The World Between Worlds. I could do a channel on Star Wars. Some of you guys, I'm sure, might subscribe to Star Wars Theory on YouTube. He's Canadian, too. Thank you. Yeah, please give the video a thumbs up. And obviously, too, I appreciate any feedback. I should probably get some background maybe up for you guys or something. Or everyone doesn't seem to mind if the set list gets shared. So I'm going to bring that up here and see if there's been any updates. And we can... Okay, it's in a weird format to read, but let's try this and see. Because it's on a spreadsheet. It'd be kind of nice if it was just a list, but okay, set list incoming now. Okay. Oh crap. So let's see here. So we had I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You was the third song. Who Says was the fourth. Love on the Weekend was with, oh, it's got the guitar. Look at that. Nebula again. Moving On and Getting Over. Rosie is such a great song. Rosie is such a great song. He's playing the Nebula all night. Oh my God. That doesn't have the guitar in that one. Show in the Dark. I guess I just feel like, oh, hey, Tom. John switches to the Nebula. He's doing the Nebula all night. Oh my God. Really? See, I knew when I sold my Nebula, I'd probably regret it. And now I'm regretting it a lot. Looks like he's actually using a wall. Oh boy. Okay, let's go check this out. I'm going to check too. How many people are in this? How do I see in this app here? 86 people. This is amazing. Thank you guys all for coming and hanging out. I honestly didn't know what the turnout would be. And I'm going to post oh, there it is. Sorry, Arthur. I didn't see that. Okay. 1 second, guys. I'm going to share this. Oh my God, the Nebula looks so great. Okay, I'm going to share this link to myself and we'll go over that while that's sending. No, you guys, I don't recommend going and buying a 2-Rock clone. The guys at 2-Rock, they work very hard to make their gear hand-built one at a time. Eli checks over every amp that leaves their factory themselves. Don't go and buying a clone of a traditional cleaner or something like that, or even like Analog Man King at Tone clones. I'm personally not a fan of doing that stuff. Support them. There's nothing wrong with a Hot Rod Deluxe or a Bandmaster or anything like that. They're going to give you great tones. But just, support the guys who put in the work. Yeah, so just for the intro stuff, TS10 obviously for the solos, but the whole base of Gravity is actually boosted with the Blues Breaker. Okay, there, you guys probably just heard that. I just got the link. Okay, 1 second. Let's bring this one up. It was Darth Veneer on Twitter. That sounded brilliant. The new neighbor Illumin. I'm terrible. You guys know I'm terrible at pronouncing things, and it's actually great for videos because when I pronounce like Akron wrong, I get like 100 comments. I still get comments in that video being like, "You didn't pronounce it properly," and it's great for engagement. The algorithm loves it. So part of me is kind of like, I should just pronounce things wrong in every video because then people are going to comment how to pronounce it properly and boost engagement. Big brain time. But that one, I think that would have been Love on the Weekend for some extra verb instead of the slate for the Palladium show. I don't know. That's my theory. Because the Golden Reverberator was in the rack. So I think it's more ambient reverbs. Those of you who know if you watch like the Clone Wars or anything, I've never seen Rebels actually. I got to get on that. Or play Jedi Fallen Order. Ooh, seeing the L5 would be wicked. I don't think so though. Maybe. Let's see. If you guys want that spreadsheet, because a lot of you are asking about it, spreadsheet's just on Reddit. Go to R. John Mayer, and it's the first result. It was the first one that I saw. Yeah, Gino, I agree with you there. It seems like every show might have, at least based on 2 shows, it's going to be one guitar for the whole thing, is what it's looking like. What does that mean for the Lunar, though, with the maple board? I don't know. Yeah, a whole Black One show. I'd die for that too. Okay, here's an interesting talking point, guys. So yeah, John was switching guitars every show. He was switching guitars from the Black One to the 64 to his SRV to a John Mayer Masterbuilt signature Strat, switching to humbucking guitars and stuff like that. Like, speaking of humbucking guitars, we're going to see the 594. That silver one, I'm sure we're going to see that. Maybe even Honey, just for Edge of Desire. The songs that require humbucking guitar will have a humbucker guitar. But it seems that, and maybe he's just really wanting to push the Silver Sky too. And every Silver Sky, more or less inside, might have the same, I guess I shouldn't say that, we don't know for sure, but it's more or less the same guitar. He's not changing the guitar for the pickups and unique characteristics of that guitar with the Fender, now with the Silver Sky, because every Silver Sky he could have, if he's road testing new pickups this tour, he could have those pickups in every guitar. And every guitar is going to feel the same because it's a Mock Sand Silver Sky to a Nebula Silver Sky. If they're all the same spec-wise, he has really no reason to change. Do you put T-Rock in the Blackface family tree or more like a Dumble? I'll quote John here. You could put a Dumble and a Fender in the room together and run them as a 2-amp rig, or you could play a Dumble, or a T-Rock, sorry, and just have that. It's kind of got the immediateness and response of a Dumble, but with some Fender characteristics to it. It's kind of the best way to describe it. It's not more like one or the other, I think. It's kind of like the best of both worlds. Obviously, like a Sterling 2 Rock is a lot more Dumble-esque, though, like a steel string singer, than some other 2 Rocks. But like he was mainly, I think, talking about the old CRS at that time. Did I ever talk about getting a TS1? I have amp ADD right now. I don't know what I want for my next amp. Part of me is like a TS1 would be wicked for the Where the Light Is trio stuff. I've honestly been looking at vintage Bandmasters right now too. They're not as expensive as you'd think, but I'm good for amps right now. In the near future, I'll probably get something, but right now, this moment in time, I'm not actually like actively buying something. Jesse, there is. Have you seen that magazine? It's with Derek Trucks on the cover too. I think from like 2004. John had his long hair. I literally know John by the hair. That's how I tell eras. It's a cover of John Frusciante, Derek Trucks, and John Mayer on the front. I want to get that and frame it. That magazine. I think it's like Guitar Magazine or something. It's the closest thing we've ever really had to collab. It's an interesting question. What is used for gravity? It could be anything in terms of, I think now actually it's been clean amp. I think it's been just the clean amps. Maybe I'm blanking on the 2019 World Tour. Maybe the Katana on for a little bit of flavor, a little bit of boost, or even the slide rig, because the compression pedals were set more to a boost, not an actual compression pedal. There was not a lot of compression that they were adding. Maybe something like that. Honestly, off the top of my head, though, I'm blanking. Hey, Kyle, how you doing, man? Yeah, Canadian accent, just can't say anything. AG Cool, what's up, man? How you doing? Anyone have any other information on what's going on with the show? Any questions or anything like that? We've been on for an hour. It's gone by really quick. Oh, there we go. Thanks, Gino. The Rolling Stone cover. I'm going to bring it up. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second, guys. I don't think I've seen this. There's a video. It's in potato quality, but there is a video.
I do remember that time when I started playing when I was 7. Somebody taught me the beginning of Stairway to Heaven, but they couldn't teach me the solo, and that was what I wanted to learn, and so that's why I gave up playing guitar at that point.
And the first heroes for me were Elmore James, Dwayne Allman. Those were the first 2 slide players. Then it went to the 3 Kings, Freddie, Albert, BB. Something about convincing your parents to spring for their first guitar that puts it on their terms, and they go, well, if you're going to play guitar, you're going to play acoustic, because acoustic is like the angel and the electric guitar is the devil. And we all went to the devil. We ended up there. Maybe we'll get back.
Well, the first guitar I owned wasn't one that I cared about owning. It was an acoustic that couldn't do at all what I wanted to do. I wanted to sound like Ace Frehley, and and this was just a regular acoustic guitar. So this is when I was 7 years old. So I didn't play for like 5 years, and eventually my family agreed to buy me a Strat based on that I learned the whole Sex Pistols album on acoustic guitar, and to show them that I was dedicated. And then I got a Strat, and then so no, I never named it, but a Strat from like 1982 was my first guitar that I really put my love into.
How have I never seen that? How the hell have I never seen that? It's amazing. I'm going to watch the rest. I won't bore you guys with the full thing, but oh my God, that's amazing. How are we feeling about Meyer combo amps? I know historically there's a 2-Rock Sig combo and the Sob Rock PRS studio combo. Zero becomes more accessible after Wonder. Come on, Eli. You never know. No. Renee retired during the North American leg of the 2019 World Tour, and then Jeremy took over. That wasn't him at the Palladium show. That wasn't Renee. Yeah, Josh, I don't think I've ever seen that, or if I have, I've forgotten, and it's been way too long. That's amazing. Literally my 2 guitar idols in the same room. I think that's so dope. Mock sand is just unique. You don't really see a lot of colors that are exactly mock sand. You got a lot of black, you got a lot of white colors, you got a lot of red, but that specific color is rare. You don't see that on a lot of guitars, I feel like. And honestly, it just looks good on, like, when you're holding it. It just looks great. Like, I think that's a good looking guitar on stage. And that's part of the reason why I bought it. And plus, it was the first of this satin finish prototypes, which I really liked. The Nebula I found in the forearm area with that poly. No, it wasn't poly, but just the way the finish was. It's still nitro, but the way the finish was, it got very sticky on the forearm area I found. If I was playing it for a while and I'd have to wipe it off and my arm would almost kind of catch on it. The satin doesn't have that problem. That's the other reason why I went with that. The looks and the actual finish, what it was. Okay, I'm going to bring that one up while we keep going. Definitely might have missed something else. Thanks, by the way, for sending me all these. That's amazing. Arthur with the mad assist. Okay, 1 second. Let's bring this guy up now. Which one was it? We back up? My whole computer just crashed. So maybe the software that I'm using isn't the best one. I might have to find a different one because it just crashed. Someone in the chat just confirmed that you guys can all hear me again and we're good. Perfect. Okay, let's bring up this one. Don't crash on me, please. Don't crash on me again. Right. That part there. He's got so much gusto. Just he's got that John Mayer. I gotta save that video. That was brilliant. That was brilliant. That's obviously with the wah pedal, the exotic. That sounded amazing. Anyone know if he played like the song with the Qtron or if he was actually using the wah for the main bits? That'd be really interesting if he started to change that. Wow. That sounded brilliant. That might be the solo of the night. I'm calling it now. Favorite SD colors. I will say the colors look a hell of a lot better in person than they did in the like initial like launch pictures. Stone blue, I think, is a great color. Moon white, actually, at first I wasn't a fan of, but when I saw it on Ariel Posen when he's playing that video where they had a bunch of people come in and test them out and kind of different artists playing over Wild Blue, I got it. So I think Stone blue or Moon white would be my personal two favorites. Phil Canadian. Hey, Anthony. Hope you're doing well, man. Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night, Owen. Thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Have a good night. Yeah, it depends on what you do with it, too. When he was using the katana and the loop, you had a lot more control, I found, with what you, like, at least I've experimented with what you can do. And a part of me theorizes that the katana was on for Rosie in the effects loop of the Qtron. And it doesn't look like he has a Qtron, or sorry, a katana in the effects loop of the Qtron right now. So maybe that's what's different. But yeah, that was, I think, my favorite Rosie solo I've ever heard. Do I hate any Silver Sky colors? There are ones I wouldn't buy, for sure. But honestly, I think they're all great. Even Orion Green was one of my least favorite ones. And then I saw it, I played one in person in 2019, summer 2019 at True Tone Music in Santa Monica. It's a wicked store. And I actually fell in love with it. I think it depends once you see them in person. I don't think there's really any bad color, to be honest. There's ones that just I wouldn't be my first choice to have. If I had $1 billion and I was going to get a couple Silver Skies, then, you know, all right. But right now, like, there's some I wouldn't pick as my first choice to have. Thoughts on the Nordvane Gravity and Triple Gang pedal? Henrik is a genius. He's a really nice guy too. If I've had the chance to chat with him a decent amount, actually. He's a great guy. He really knows what he's doing. The guts of all those pedals are immaculate in the design. His craft and the components he uses are insanely high quality. I had a Nordvane Gravity and I sold it when I thought I was buying an Octopus Mark I. I was just like, hey, I'm just going to move some stuff around instead of just spending more cash on more gear in the moment. And then, of course, I never got it, so I was out my Gravity. I just haven't gotten another one since. It's a phenomenal pedal. Instead of buying a Klon and a Klon style pedal and a TS10 style pedal, it's a really great option. Same thing with the Triple Gain. Super impressive. I'm just not a fan of 2-in-1 pedals when they don't have an effects loop. If I can't really mess around with the order or put things in between, like, for example, the Gravity, I'd want to put a Qtron in between. And you can't do that. Maybe that's something that'll change. That's my only issue with 2-in-1 pedals. And that goes for everything like the Analog Man, King of Tone, the Protein from Brown Amplification. All of those pedals, I just don't like not being able to have full control. And that's why I personally prefer single pedals. And that's why the carbon from Brown Amplification is wicked, because now you just have a standalone Bluesbreaker clone from those guys. If like Henrik's got the #1 custom, which would be a phenomenal clone. But if you're building a board and you're looking for pedals like that, you can't go wrong with anything from Nordvang. You can't go wrong. That Rossi pedal, no. John's not using it, and I don't think he will. He won't switch from the Qtron. I mean, should he have? Yeah. I think John should have released a DVD from the 2019 World Tour. Will he ever? No. There was one interview, I forget where it was from an Instagram live stream he did when he was traveling. And someone asked him, are you ever going to release another live album? And he pretty much said, YouTube is the new live concert thing. He can play a show one night, and then an hour after the show, or even as we're seeing as it's happening, live clips of the show are being posted online. So he was kind of like, there's no point when people are just doing that. Is kind of what he said. Unfortunately, because that means we won't get a true live version of the show that's professionally shot, audio is professionally captured and mastered. We're probably never going to get something like that again. I think Sob Rock, though, is the time if he's going to do it. I think this would be the time to do it. This is a really good one, too. Do I think he'll play OG Last Train Home and then play the ballad version? I theorized with a couple buddies. I think it was my buddy Tommy who actually came up with this idea. Pretty sure it was Tommy. He said that Last Train Home, would open with Last Train Home and close off with the ballad version. That was his theory. And I actually like that idea. It's kind of like two bookends. And I kind of thought that before now we'd get some other performances from that session. Like Wild Blue, like that 62 Olympic White or whatever it is, that he wrote Wild Blue on, that Strat was present. The Brent Mason Telecaster was present. So he clearly was maybe playing some other songs during that session. I thought we'd maybe get one more release before the start of the tour and then one halfway through maybe, but I don't know. Ernie Ball Mega Slinkies, 10.5 to 52 is the gauge. Yeah, everyone, there's a specific version of the Metal Zone he's using. You all got to go on eBay or Reverb and jack up those prices. I personally haven't played any amp that's gotten close to it. Guys, my amp knowledge, firsthand experience, isn't that extensive, to be quite honest. My amp history was kind of like all over the place in terms of what I had. My clean sort of amp sound for a while was a mini 20-watt Jubilee Marshall for the Frusciante thing. And then Mick Taylor actually did a demo of it with some wicked Strat tones. And for that kind of amplifier, it did get very much so in kind of that merry, clean sound, as much as a Marshall can get. That was my original amp. I got rid of it because I want to try and eventually track down a 1987 100-watt Jubilee. That's down the road, but that's a grail amp of mine. So I got rid of that. Then I had the Milkman, the amp solid state thing, just to get me by until my Bonamassa high powered Tweed Twin came in, and then my 2-Rock. So my Mayer amp lineage, I've done kind of a massive jump, and until a lot more recently than you probably think, I was just like, that tone will do, and eventually I'll get this amp. And I finally just bit the bullet and got the 2-Rock. So I haven't played anything personally that's gotten close to it. You mean Amplified Nations, you know, obviously doing something extremely similar to 2-Rock. Cherrytone, it's close. It's not there, but it's close. And for the money, that's a great option as well. But it's not, I don't personally think Cherrytone is as close as everyone thinks, as a lot of people think they are. That was for Sirius XM Pandora. It was a sponsored giveaway. That was the one a week ago. Yeah, it was just a one-time thing, I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Silver Sky price went up, what, guys? $250 US, I think. Yeah, Tom, that's my only thing with every multiple in one pedal. John, if you guys remember, he used this Keeley Electronics. It was the original version of their what was it? The overdrive, the 3-in-1. What's their new 3-in-1 pedal they have that's white with all the overdrives? It's like or kind of like boost, 2 overdrives. You guys know the pedal I'm talking about. The original version that Mayer briefly used actually had patches where you could put something in between all 3 effects. And that was brilliant. And some pedals do that, but a lot don't. That if multiple pedals did that, or like multi-pedals did that, then I'd be totally sold. But most of them don't. So that's why even when my name comes up on the list for the Analog Man King of Tone, I'm going to keep it. I'm going to love it. But part of me doesn't like not being able to put things in between. But that circuit is kind of, it's a bit of a different story, that specific circuit. Oh man, he's playing the Moonwhite SE. Yeah, Daniel, the Tone Workstation. Thank you. That's the one I'm talking about. The original version of that had actually where you could patch in between. I'm not sure about the new version, but that's the only example that's coming. Yeah, it might have been the Kerwin Frost interview that he was talking about the live thing. Can someone find a Moonlight clip? That'd be great to bring up if you guys could find that. Yeah, if any of you guys are struggling with your Qtron sound, putting the Qtron in between drives, that's the way to go. Because then you have the flexibility of hitting it with like a Klon style circuit, and then afterwards having a TS style circuit. You get the ultimate flexibility in your tones. Putting then a katana in the loop just adds to the possibilities of sounds and the control over all of that effect that you have. And that's why a lot of people end up getting like the micro Qtron. I don't know about the Nano is the new one, but the micro Qtron a lot of people buy and they're not super happy with it. And that's because too, the effects for one, and obviously the amount of control you have, but overall, that's why a lot of people aren't happy with their Qtron sound in general, is because the placement. I liked Cabela's. What was that one? Cabela's Cameo, Cabela's Camela Mendez. That one he did. I laughed so hard. There's a Cabela's in my city, and every time I drive, or Camilla Cabela's. Cabello Cabela's Mendez. That song he did on Current Mood. Every time I drive past the one Cabela's in my city, I just start chuckling to myself because I can't hear. So it sounds like there's no intermission this year either. A part of me was slightly worried when there was an opener, because that's just more time you're getting taken away from John playing on stage. But maybe just no intermission. He just keeps rocking. What mid-range electric guitar would I recommend? What defines mid-ranged in price? I mean, an SE Silver Sky, that's like pretty affordable, I think. And if you want like a John Mayer thing, I don't think you can go wrong with an SE. I think that's where a lot of people are going to go, and they're selling like crazy. If you want like a Fender, maybe even like a used made in Mexico Strat, like this Proto reverse headstock Strats made in Mexico. So is the Shiflet Telecaster behind me. Great guitars, just because they're made a few kilometers across the border. They're great guitars. I know some people kind of like to be picky with the Bonsai and how close it is to the TS10 and stuff like that. If it's good enough for John to use, it's good enough for us. Let's be real. I've never played one again, though. But again, Josh Scott more than knows what he's doing and makes great stuff. It's a great pedal, I'm sure. Oh, that's awesome, Brian. And yeah, don't take what I said about Cherry Tone as just like, I'm not knocking the amp, but I've seen so many people online say that the JM100 is an exact JM Sig. And I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I just bought a Cherry Tone JM100. I have a JM Sig now. From what I've understood of the circuits, and this, don't again quote me on this, guys, but what I understand, they're not as close wise as everyone thinks they are. That was mainly what I was saying. They're great amps. You're just not getting the exact thing. That was more what I was trying to say. when I see people being like, oh, like, why would you get that? You get the exact same thing with cherry tone. You don't. You don't get the exact same thing. Oh, you're playing your Moonlight, Kyle. I was like, oh, he's playing an SE. Oh, great. Let's get some footage. Thanks, Antonio. I've gone through a lot of stuff. Push-pull legs, classic. I had knee surgery like 2 years ago. I think 2 years ago now. That pretty much crippled my legs. They're pretty skinny right now. So I was I'm getting back into hitting legs, but I just kind of do like chest. I'm like that kind of bro split, like chest. I did chest tries, back buys, shoulders, legs, repeat, something like that. Or do like the Arnold split. Push-pull legs is a great one though, but I find push is too much volume in one day personally. I'd maybe save up for an SE Silver Sky. Because I don't think they're, what are they? Are they 900 USD, aren't the SEs? I'd go for that. Because I think Silver Sky SE would last you a very long time. And you have lots of room to grow into the guitar. Whereas if you got like a Squire or something, you still have room to grow, but maybe not as much as a SE Silver Sky. My opinion is always save up and wait a little bit longer than buy it immediately. That's my advice. Yeah, Ahmad's tone is wicked. I don't think he used the Silver Sky a lot though, or sorry, the Bonsai a lot though. Yeah, his tone's great. Yeah, exactly. This is what I'm talking about. So Ryan obviously knows his stuff very, very well. I'm sure you guys are all familiar with the Tone Geek. Yes, and that's the kind of the confusion thing around Cherry Tone, that JMod 100 or the Joyful Music 100, JM 100. What was it actually meant to be? I'm not sure about the marketing that went behind that amplifier or not, but that was just the point I was trying to make, is that it's not, you're not, a lot of people I read online on Reddit and stuff say, oh, I just got this amp and I have a JM Sig. So someone is going to pay 50 grand for a JM Sig when I just have it here. No, you don't. But that's not even the point. But okay, I might have to pick that up. Can we talk about Chris Buck for a second? Like, side note, but how great is Chris Buck? He's probably my actual favorite guitarist right now. Like, the Cardinal Black EP was brilliant. The live kind of studio version they did of Warm Love, that outro solo he does, might be my favorite solo now of all time. That's how much I loved it. It was just brilliant. I just loved it to death. Chris Buck is phenomenal, and every time they go in Cardinal Black for QA, I'm quickly in there being like, come to Canada, because I die to see those guys live. And Chris Buck deserves all the success in the world. Guys like him, Joey Landreth, Ariel Posen, they're on their way, but I really want to see those guys make it. I really want to see them like make it big. They've already made it more than a lot of people ever will, but I really want to see them like really make it. What's up, JJ? Just got on watching from the beginning, but I'm a huge supporter. Enjoy your content. Keep it up. Cheers. Hey, thanks for tuning in. I know I didn't expect to be on this late, but we still got 90 people in the chat and I'm having fun. So why not keep going, right? What pedal should I get to get John Mayer guitar tone? Are we talking about your first pedal ever? Because I guess this would depend on what pedals you already have. The fundamentals of any John Mayer board are clean boost, light overdrive, tube screamer style overdrive. It has to be a tube screamer style overdrive, really, if that's what you're going for. And then delay. Slapback isn't actually as important as a lot of people think it is. I don't use my octopus that much, actually, because my train of thought with Mayer gear was, okay, the octopus was used in everything, and now it's going the other way, where I'm like, it's actually not used as much as we think. Because the slapback is a little bit more audible. Like when you listen to Vultures and you can really hear it, or Out of My Mind on the Try album version during the solo, you can actually hear it really clear. And you don't quite hear it as often, I think, as a lot of people think. That's just a theory that I'm kind of going down the rabbit hole of is how often is it actually used. But yeah, if you had to get one pedal, as long as you got a clean tone amp, I'd maybe get like a tube screamer style, because then you can just knock from clean sound, solo tone back to clean sound. And there you go. Hey Aaron, how's it going, man? Is it true though? It's one of those things where it's leaked and then they're trying to put the cat back in the bag, but it's already down the street. That'd be really cool if they reissue it, as long as it sounds good. It's kind of like, I think it's a little too late though, to be quite honest. There are so many other great clones that honestly fix the issues that were fundamentally wrong with the Bluesbreaker pedal, the Mark I, that why would you buy an original reissue of the Mark I now? If it's that affordable, then maybe, but I had the Mark I and I sold it before I started this channel, and now I heavily regret it just to demonstrate the tones, and I'm going to get another one. But when I owned it, I actually thought, this pedal sucks. The only setting that remotely sounds good is pretty much everything on full. And it was noisy, and it just, yeah. I don't think it was actually a good pedal, so it's kind of weird. If Ibanez, on the other hand, released the TS10 as a reissue, there's not enough clones of the TS10 out there where there's another better option. Does that make sense? There's too many Bluesbreaker options out there that are as good and then some, where the TS10 doesn't really have that option yet. It'd be cool, and if they release one for $150, I'll buy one, and maybe I'll do a shootout compared to the Mark I once I get one. But yeah, I think Snouse, I don't know what's going on with Snouse, but that's a great option. There's a Canadian company in Saskatoon called Coffee Shop Pedals. If you guys haven't heard of it, you probably haven't, but they're making a Bluesbreaker clone, and the schematic and everything looks really good. I want to try that because I'm very big about supporting small companies, especially if they're Canadian. That is another great Bluesbreaker option. I've been chatting with those guys a little bit, so maybe I'll try and make something happen. And then, yeah, that's that's my thoughts on that. The DiMarzio, the black Strat. Oh, come on. That hanger is slightly busted. I need to fix it. Yeah, this is the strap that he's been using, and he's still using right now. The DiMarzio clip lock strap. He just takes like a X-Acto knife or a thread cutter or whatever, and just like comes in and takes the stitches out, and then that's what he does. But the one he's playing with the charcoal, that still has a sticker in. But yeah, be careful if you're using it on a Silver Sky. I will say that. Sam, a lot of you guys know Sam, good buddy of mine. His Nebula from the actual plastic pieces here, bouncing against the guitar has chipped it. So if you got a Nitro Silver Sky, just be careful. That's why I don't use one on my Moxon Satin even. I don't use one on it, and I won't, because I don't want to risk damaging the finish. This is another interesting thing. What I would personally do, if you have a Bluesbreaker clone and a clone and a TS style pedal, go Bluesbreaker, Tube Screamer, clone. Because then you have the option of pushing the Tube Screamer with the Bluesbreaker. And then if you have a clean boost pedal as well, you got those two to push the Tube Screamer. Then you can push the clone with the Tube Screamer pedal. And after owning my Centaur and really experimenting with that sound and taking that sound a bit more seriously, I prefer clone after TS. That's what I just prefer now. If you listen to Going Down with the Rolling Stones, that's probably one of my favorite Mayer sounds ever. And that's going to be an upcoming video. I just, again, haven't had time to make it, or sat down and spent the time to make it. That tone is so brilliant that he got for that performance. And that's because the clone was just getting hit by the TS10. And I think the clone's gain was up to a decent amount. That's what I would do personally, because you could have the Bluesbreaker and the clone both able to push the Tube Screamer, but the Tube Screamer is still going to be the primary voice that you hear. So you have the option at least to then go clone after, because that's also kind of relevant to this tour, getting the clone being pushed. That's all I'm going to say right now until I get further confirmation of a few things. Ernie Ball posted to their Instagram. I don't have I have it on my phone in my folder, but Ernie Ball got asked that when they were doing like a Q&A, and then they posted he uses Mega Slinkies. And the timeline and everything that it seems to be, and here's what I go with that. Mega Slinkies are on the Silver Skies, regular Ernie Ball on Strats. And I do prefer, I tried both. Megas on the Silver Sky is pretty freaking awesome. Best clone pedal. I was really impressed with the Icon, the Archer Icon, when I did that shootout on my channel. Every clone style pedal is going to be it's going to be closer in some degree, I feel like, than others compared to the real thing. Again, this is just my example of the real thing. So my real example might sound different than the London Guitarists. If you guys know him, I'm sure you guys all do, than his clone. Because he thought to him when he tried it out that the Cherrytone Centura was closer than anything else he tried with his real clone Centaur. Where I thought the Archer was way closer, the Archer Icon, to my clone. And that I don't think that's because our ears are better or worse than the other. We have different clones. And at this point in time, there's going to be differences in them as they age with the parts. So keep that in mind. For the money, the Archer is a great clone. If you want the look of the real clone, then obviously, yeah, Cherrytone or even the Studio Daydream one. I think that or the Nordvang probably be the two actual like best, like highest quality of build parts. Probably Nordvang or Studio Daydream would be kind of my two off the top of my head. For the price, though, Way Huge Conspiracy Theory or the Archer Icon. Be what I say. Does John experiment with a wet dry amp rig? Yes and no. He's done it in the past, and when I say wet dry, it's wet dry wet, and that is adding like Bricasti reverbs into the rig, and then having the center amp dry. He doesn't do anything with. He's never done anything to my knowledge of delays or any other modulation effect in a wet dry wet setup. It's mainly just been the degree of reverb being used. Yeah. There's not one universal setting. What's on mine? I like the gain higher up on mine, noon or maybe a little bit further. I'm one of those guys who prefers to actually push the clone into what it's magically known for. But John doesn't have his clone usually gained up that high, not really distorting. Tone on the clone is generally 12 o'clock is unity on my clone. He usually has it at unity or a little bit higher up, so maybe adding a little bit of treble, and then output just to your needs with your rig. Okay, someone want to link me that, and we can all watch that together, and then I'll let the stream go on at least until 2 hours, but then that'll probably be as late as I go. So another 20 minutes or so. Yeah, someone want to DM me or link me that, let me know. And then I'll play it for you guys. Primaries in terms of playability and tone. It's hard not to say where the light is, but Trio, he was just playing to prove himself. And whether or not you think that ended up being detrimental or beneficial to his playing, he was very brave during that era because he wanted to change that image of himself as being the guy who wrote Your Body's a Wonderland and Daughters. That's literally what the song Who Did You Think I Was is about. I'm not just that guy. And he even said the same thing with Born and Raised in Paradise Valley. People think they know me and what I'm about. And they're like, yeah, I get it. No, but you don't understand. No, I get it. No. I think Continuum, tone-wise, it's just hard to beat, especially where the light is, because we have it professionally recorded. So of course, we're going to compare everything to where the light is because we have the best audio and best guitar quality that we can get. I do think the 2019 World Tour was the best we had seen since then. I really like the tones on that tour. A lot more gain, but I really enjoyed that. And I think now he's just having fun after all the years. I think besides Continuum, I think now we might be in the second prime era of John's playing in tone. I think we're reaching another prime era that years from now we're going to look back on and be like, remember Sob Rock? Remember the 2019 World Tour? Those were brilliant. And the tones and everything was wild. I think we're going to look back on these eras with a lot of fun memories. Hey, thanks for tuning in, Chris. I appreciate it, man. Let me go hang this up and I'll see if I know. I bought it a long time ago. It says profile on the front. Profile. I bought it like maybe 7-8 years ago. It was like one of the first things I bought for like kind of like the guitar corner. So they probably don't make it anymore, but that's what it's called. I think I bought it from Guitar Works, which is a Canadian store chain, kind of like Guitar Center, but smaller. This as well. I always forget about Zach and Mythos, actually. That's another really great option. Yeah, Current Mood, I hope it comes back. Super tragic about Bob Saget, though, because that was the day he was going to do Current Mood. And I can't imagine how John felt losing one of his best friends. That's tragic. And now that he's touring, I don't know. I hope he's doing just okay. I hope he's just doing okay. And Current Mood was kind of one of those things when you're feeling lonely or when, maybe he was feeling a bit blue. I feel like he almost turned to like the audience to connect with people maybe. So we might see it as he's touring and maybe he's on the bus. He's got time to kill. Maybe he'll do a traveling Current Mood or even just Q&As at least. I missed that show though. It was so much fun. They were so great. I live in an apartment with a Rock Tread Clean. Do you recommend the aux box since I can't play it too loud? It still sounds great at low volume, so wondering if it's worth it. One video I do also have coming out, I have so many videos in the pipe. My notes section on my phone, you just scroll through it. We just full out pretty much video ideas done. One of them is on John Mayer's Clean Sound. And the Tread Clean, and I didn't really understand this until I got the amp. I usually play with the gain at about 1 or 2 o'clock because it actually needs some oomph behind it. You listen to that iconic Slow Dancing in a Burning Room 2 Rock Mayer Sig demo version on John Mayer's YouTube channel from 2007. It's not clean. The amp has some bite to it for sure. So how that relates to your question, you need to be able to open it up enough at least to like get that sound, I feel like. And same thing with me, like some days I can't play super loud at home. I got to turn it down. The aux is a great option for that, especially if you end up wanting to record clips. The interface with the aux and everything, the cab simulation is next to none. I don't think it's the best attenuator out there though. There is some tone suck that you get. And the fact that the knob, I got it right here on my desk. It's not, what do they call it? Like a rotary where you can't just like turn it to any degree. You literally have like options of where modes. You can go 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's all you got for the speaker volume in the room. So if you're looking for a straight attenuator, I'd maybe look at something else. Like that Wazacraft one looked brilliant. But if you plan on or think you might record in the future, get the aux then because it's the best of everything. Don't know about the Optimus guys. Kind of interesting. Cory Wong, one of the cleanest guitar players on the planet, getting an overdrive pedal. It sounds great though. I think it's Klon for sure. I'm not sure about Timmy. It depends on the song. It depends on what he's doing. He does use slapback interchangeably almost. You can hear even just the use of regular delay. If you listen to Bokodan in Japan, 2019 World Tour, listen to Slow Dancing both nights. One night has the delayed 80s on. The other night doesn't. It's totally dry. So he kind of, from what I understand, some layering with delays is in the moment kind of thing. The slapback, I'm not sure if you heard when I was talking about this earlier in the stream, but I don't think he uses it as much as everyone thinks, including myself at one point thought he did. I think it's actually a lot less than we think, but he always has it on a board because for certain songs like Vultures, it's always going to be used, or at times he might just add it on. It's hard to tell because without getting a good look at his board throughout an entire night when it's being used, it's hard to tell. Wild Blue, for example, is a song that it'll always have it on from what we've seen. Kind of depends. It's not worse, it's less good. The 2017 World Tour. Some tones from that era do still sound great, but albeit those are trio setlist songs, so the Dumble and then the Dual Professional, not the J-Mods. 2017 is the least best. His tone's better in that era than I'll ever have. But, yeah. Did anyone send me the link for the full Last Train home performance? Oh, so John pulled out the charcoal prototype for Gravity. You just got that DM from me from Scott, who's at the show. Proto charcoal was used for Gravity. Now that is interesting. Maybe new pickups in it. I don't know. Tom, I just saw your story. That's awesome. That's hilarious. You think the 2021 Silver Sky is close to the black one? Well, the 2018, 100%, 100%. The Silver Sky, remember too, as a whole, was designed to be a working, everyday version and accessible version of his favorite vintage Strat, which is the 64. When they say 63-65 or whatever with the pickups and the neck and stuff like that, the middle of that's 64. It's the 64's neck. It's designed to be modeled after the 64 Strat. Definitely the 2021 is more Black One-ish. I've owned the old pickups and the new pickups. This one is more low output, feels a bit more dynamic with pedals and everything like that. And this is nitpicking for sure. Totally, but that's the brilliant thing about being a guitar player and a fan of gear. We're allowed to nitpick, right, guys? So definitely lower output. I 100% agree with you there. And that saying is that the 2021 is like the Black One edition Silver Sky. And then 2018 is like the 64. I'm sure we will get new pickups. I don't doubt it. Like you said, they have like a 3 to 4 year running plan on the design of the Silver Sky. That's what's happening right now with the prototype that he's playing. So we're definitely going to get something new. Didn't they say too that we're getting Maple board SEs eventually? Not now, but eventually. I think it's happening too, which would be great for you guys. And I'd like to maybe get an SE Maple. That'd be wicked. What's on Sob Rock? I gotta actually look at the list. I don't think there's one bad song on Sob Rock, to be honest. I like Why You No Love Me, actually. Yeah. Yeah, looking at the list here, there's not one bad song on the album. Well, I'm not sure what you guys think. Do you guys love Why You No Love Me, or do you hate it? I think people are total polar opposites. Either you love it or you hate it. I'm here for it personally. I think it's hilarious and daring. You listen to some mumble rap and stuff like that, and it's like, why can't John do this? I think Carry Me Away is probably my least favorite. That song did absolutely nothing for me when it came out, and it still does nothing for me. I could have taken it or leaving it. Yeah, just doesn't speak to me as a mayor thing. Yeah, all you guys are saying you love Why You No Love Me. I'm with you on that. It's weird, but you just gotta love it for what it is. And it's just a daring, kind of cheeky song he made. Oh, there we go. We got a few. Not a fan of that song. I hope he plays every song on the album, though. That'll be just terrible if we never get every song on the album most nights. I'm still trying to look. Arthur, you're the man. I was just going back and looking. Okay, I think what we're going to do for the live stream here, guys, I'm going to bring up the full clip of Last Train Home, the opener for tonight. We'll listen to it in its entirety. We can discuss pedals, the tone, and then I think we'll call it a night. That sounds good to everyone. One second here, guys. Okay. Last Train Home, perform tonight. Here we go. I don't want to fast forward it because I don't want to miss the intro. Hopefully that wasn't too terrible audio for you guys. I gotta find a different software, or maybe it's the premium version of this one that lets me actually have the audio from whatever I'm playing come through, because I had to play it through my mic. I have like this little mic here, so I brought it back and faced the computer. So sorry if that wasn't ideal. I can post the link for you all in the chat if you want to watch it after. I'll do that actually for you guys. Okay. Link is in the chat for you guys if you want to give it a watch right here after we end the stream. But yeah, what do you guys think of the tones overall? So his voice sounds a little tired. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe he just didn't. I think his voice sounded fine. Definitely we're not in his prime voice after his vocal surgery, so I think this is kind of what we're expecting, but you never know too with the mix of the first few shows might not be that great. Yeah. Thanks, Tom, man. Appreciate it. Thanks, Bridget. Yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in as we're wrapping up here. Yeah, for the main tones there, I don't know. It's hard to pinpoint exactly what's going on. And like I said, I'm kind of waiting to do my thing on the pedals and what he's going to be using on this board. I want to wait a few more shows to get some concrete information of what looks like it's going to be staying, what's not. Because like, I forget if I mentioned this at the beginning or not too. I don't want to post what pedals he's using right away. I've kind of had a bit of a change of heart over the last little bit of how I want to go about showcasing John's gear. If on the very first night of a performance, like the Palladium or any tour, for example, someone figures out his board and posts the whole freaking thing, we know how secretive John likes being with his gear. And I don't want to piss him off and then for him to be like, hey, people are figuring it out right away. I'm just going to say the hell with it and put it all in a Bradshaw rig and then put the rack unit off stage where no one's going to have any clue what I'm using. That to me is like a worst case scenario. So I want to kind of wait for one thing as kind of a respect for John and his privacy to not reveal it immediately. And then as well, I want to make sure that things are going to change. I know for a fact there was a few things that changed from the Palladium show's pedal board to tonight's pedal board. I know that for a fact already. And it's probably going to keep going on as he kind of gets more comfortable and more solidified with the sound as the tour goes on. Things are going to change. So once the mainstays have kind of been figured out, then I'll talk about it. But for right now, I don't really want to discuss his board. So if any of you are wondering why I haven't yet, that's why. Those are the reasons why. I will. I'm just holding off a little bit. Thanks, Brian. I appreciate you, my friend. Cheers to you back from Canada. I hope he does another tour on that side of the world. Maybe in the fall or next year, even. You never know. Yeah, John has talked about that too, about why he blacks out his pedals, but it's weird how he blacks certain ones out and doesn't black ones other out. Now we know that the Klon being blacked out was an afterthought. After it broke a second time, then he was like, hey, give me a black enclosure instead, is what ended up happening. Because that's kind of why, if you're wondering why the Klon and the TS one's blacked out, one's not, when everyone knows he uses both, that's why, because it broke and then he got the enclosure replaced. So that's why he's been doing it. Like the delay 80s being blacked out, like we know that's what it is from the 2019 World Tour. And he just doesn't want that. And I'm trying to respect that as well. I'm like, there's one pedal especially that's on his pedal board right now that you could really hype up. There's a few, but there's stuff on his board right now that you can immediately go and hype up and start seeing the prices skyrocket. And I want to try and avoid that too. I don't want to be one of those people who's just trying to be like, oh, let's all bump reverb up on these pedals and stuff. Let's just wait and see what happens and kind of try and respect it and not hype it up. That's why when the Una was on his board during the few first performances on like Jimmy Kimmel and stuff like that, I knew what it was. I just didn't say it in the video because I didn't want people to all of a sudden be like buying the unit and people price gouging on Reverb. I kind of wanted to wait until a better picture came out to reveal, and it kind of got out there a little bit more. I don't want to be that all the time, that first scoop dude anymore. That's kind of my opinion there, if you guys feel that. I had a great time. 2 hours went by super quick. Thank you guys all so much for coming in. I'll definitely do this again and get a bit more better at live streaming. Yeah, Tom, that big Sob Rock kind of sign they had, very 80s drive-in kind of vibes almost. It was wicked. Born and Raised was the encore song. There you guys go. That was interesting. Is the show over? Do we even know? Or do you play New Light? Maybe Born and Raised and then New Light? I don't know. Gino, have a good night. Have a good night, man. God, I'm getting tired. I gotta get ready for bed. Have a good night, brother. We'll talk soon. Of course, I'll give you guys lots of notice. Feedback seems to be pretty good about the live stream. So if this is something you guys want, please make sure you let me know either in Instagram or in the comments on the actual video, because I'll repost the whole thing on my page for people like who are in Europe who message me being like, I'm on the other side of the world and I want to be there, but I can't. I'll repost the whole thing, or I'll do clips. I'll go in and actually edit clips from the show tonight or something. But yeah. There you go. I'm not that as crazy as people think. Appreciate all you guys. Yeah, New Light for the second encore song. There we go. That'll be the closer. It's kind of weird. Justin Timberlake, when I saw him, that's the best concert both times I've seen JT live for the 2020 experience, and then for Man of the Woods tour. Both the best shows I've ever been to in my life. He closed out with Can't Stop the Feeling, and it's got a similar vibe to New Light. Very just upbeat. Everyone's going to know it. You can just kind of dance around and like have a good time. That's what it feels like with New Light. You know, I think JT ending on Sexy Back or Mirrors is a better ending. Same thing with John. I feel like ending on Gravity, but maybe that's why these artists do it. Is it's just an upbeat song. Everyone's going to know it. You can jam out to it and have a good time to say goodnight. That's where my brain goes, at least. No Edge of Desire. Yeah, that's going to be one of the ones that probably 50% of the time, I guess, he'll play. It's kind of that way for the 2019 World Tour. You too. Have a good night. If you go on my YouTube channel and you click on the Jimmy Kimmel breakdown, full rig breakdown, that's the one I was talking about where I kind of tried to prevent the unit from being hyped up, even though I knew what it was on his board. But if you go to my full breakdown of what pedals are on Mayor's Sob Rock board, that video has like that actual breakdown of what's going on. Born and Raised was just after Gravity, probably New Light after. Yep, that's a pretty good ending set list. So Born and Raised is kind of like a deep track now, where like a lot of people either don't like that album or love it, and that would be a highlight song for a lot of people, I feel like. So I can see why he did it. Hey, sorry you just got the end here. We'll be doing lots more of these two live, you guys, so that we can get you all in and to join out, because I had a great time too. This live stream? No, I'm not active on Reddit. Like I said, kind of at the beginning, I go on for like video game stuff like Animal Crossing and just different like video game stuff like Apex Legends. And then like our bodybuilding, our home gym, our John Mayer, and our sneakers. That's like my subreddits that I occasionally pop in to, but I just more browse. So I'm not active on the John Mayer Reddit. When I get the live stream up, I got to figure that out on the end of this thing here. If someone wants to post it on Reddit or any of my stuff ever, feel free. More exposure and everything like that too helps me out greatly. Yeah, very different time. I think he is, in terms of he has to play certain songs every night. Like with Sob Rock being a new album, everyone's going to want to hear Last Train Home, Shot in the Dark. All the songs off that album, they're new, right? So he's going to everyone wants to hear them, like, I'm sure. And then same thing, Gravity, Slow Dancing, A Burning Room, probably like I Don't Trust Myself with Loving You. maybe like Daughters even the odd time, or some songs like that people really connect with. Helpless, I think, is probably on there too, to be honest, as a song he's going to play almost every night. So when you add those up, that's probably a third to half of the set list. Then the rest he's going to change up. But he for sure has a rough strategy. You know, probably every night's going to start with Last Train Home. Every night's probably going to end with either New Light or Gravity. I think as an artist, you have some responsibility to your fans and the people who come out to the show to make sure you please them and the stuff they want to see. It's like when you hear like guys in the NFL or the NHL. There was one player in the NFL, I think it was with the Dolphins, who was, you guys, I'm not a big NFL guy, but he was asked by management to like toss out a game to just lose. And he was offered to pay $100,000 every night that he lost. And he said no, because number one, I don't have that mentality. I'm a competitor. I want to win. And I don't want to do that to our fans who are out there paying to see us play and win. That's not fair to them to spend their hard-earned money just to have us throw the game. I think it's kind of like that in a sense. We got to think of it as like people are coming out to see John. They want to see Gravity. They want to see these songs and these hits. And it's a balancing act of pleasing your fans and what they want to see, and then having fun with your set list. So I think that comes down to that first half, the songs he has to play every night: Gravity, Silencing the Burning Room, New Light, Last Train Home. That's what he's got to play, like you said. The other half of it is, what do I want to play tonight? He's still got the freedom, but I think personally it's a balancing act, and I personally am okay with that, as long as he has enough creative freedom to play what he wants. But then everyone, like, I'd be pissed if I didn't hear Gravity or Silencing the Burning Room. I'd be like, what the heck? This wasn't a John Mayer concert. Oh my God, Oscar, that's hilarious. Thank you, man. Sebum is the GOAT. That could be interesting. I'll look into that. Pedro High from Brazil. Why did he go with opening acts this year? Yeah, it's hard to say why he did that. I don't know, to be honest. The best shows I've ever been to have been with no opening act, and the headliner just plays all night. That's just my personal thing. I don't think it's a bad thing, though. It sounds like it was a great show tonight. I don't know how many songs he played. We can all check the spread list after this, but the more John Mayer time, the better. Dude, are you serious? Okay, if John was given the Gravity, or given the black wine, my brain's going to mush, and then put it back and took out the charcoal prototype, I hope the black one's playing fine. I'm sure it is, but a part of me goes to that place in my mind thinking, is it not okay? Is it really starting to have issues with the neck? And it's just comfortability, and he's just like, screw it, I'm going to play it with Silver Sky. Sean, or if anyone can find me that footage, that would be actually a great talking point on my channel, just to highlight. Yeah, so if anyone can DM me that on Instagram or something, I'd appreciate it a lot. Some of our videos we were having issues with, just with just a bunch of stuff on the Gear Lounge. I apologize for some of them being gone. Just that's we'll bring new ones out, and I'm gonna do a series like that on my channel, John Mayer Gear on a Budget, or various budgets. I'll do some stuff on that. So apologies. There's a few videos from the Gear Lounge show that aren't on right now. We're working on it though, fixing some things. Oh, there you go. I knew it was the Dolphins. I just didn't know who. I'm not a massive NFL fan. I spent all my sports time watching the NHL and then NBA, but I've been bad and haven't watched NBA this year because the Raptors don't have anyone that I really remember on the team anymore. Once they traded Lowry, I was kind of like, okay. Another Ontario man. Perfect. Exactly. He's going to feel out the tour and what people want and go with it. Mark, you and me both. At the very beginning of the show, when I showed a picture of Jeremy holding the nebula on stage, I said the same thing, and he played All Night Tonight. It makes me miss mine. I knew part of me always regretted selling it, and I'm regretting it a little bit more now, but blindfolded, I prefer the mock sand and feel, like I mentioned before, the satin finish is smooth underneath my forearm. Pickups I prefer better, but just the nebula was brilliant looking. Harrison, I could have swore something was mentioned from PRS or someone who said, right now, we just have so much demand, we can't even make that a possibility. But once demand starts to slow down a little bit, that's going to be a possibility. Someone fact checked me on that, but I remember hearing or reading something on that came out like today or yesterday. Yeah, 3 necks on the black one. Or I think two. Oh, yeah. See, I got to go to bed, guys, because my brain's going to mush. 3 necks total. First one, remake from Cruise. Second remake from Cruise, that was barely... The second remake from Cruise barely was on. Then he went back to the original. Still alive, but I don't know. Yeah, Sharky and David Wright Harris were there. Nope, Canadian. Great White North. Sean, thanks, man. Okay. 2 hours and 13 minutes. Okay, we're going to do this and then closing thoughts. Because I can't not talk about this. Sorry, 1 second, guys. I'm just finding the part where he... Okay, it's going to be really hard to see here. Again, I will link this, and I'm probably going to make a video on it on my channel as well, because this is actually kind of big in just terms of gear news for John. Yeah, it's so small. Yeah, it's... I don't know what's with the software. The moment I go to full screen, it just dies. It's just like, nope. Don't like that. Oh, for God's sake. Okay, tell you what. I'm just going to share this in here because it's going to be so small on your guys' screen. It's going to be difficult to see. Around the 7-minute mark is where you're going to want to go. Go to the 7-minute mark. I just shared it, guys. It's in the chat there. I will just, yeah. It's very hard to tell from my view too, because I'm seeing it in a small format as well. Once I'm done the stream, I'll see it. But yeah, if he was given the black one and then was like, no, maybe he just was feeling the silver sky. I don't know. We'll see. Yeah, that's exactly it. We're done. We're done. No more than 18 minutes later. Still going. Yeah, lives is something I've never thought about doing, to be honest. The only lives on YouTube I've even ever watched were from Take Back TV, his Animal Crossing stream during the whole 2020, everything going on. And then Star Wars Theory on YouTube. Those are the only 2 live streams I ever catch on YouTube. And watching one of Star Wars Theories the other night, I was like, this just sounds like fun. And if I could bring guys like Tommy on and Gabe and different guys, almost like the John Mayer Gear Lounge show, but live and just on my channel, then I just do some lives on my own and have a guest every once in a while. I think that'd be a lot of fun. So I think it's probably going to end up becoming a regular thing because I had a great time tonight. I hope you guys all had a great time tonight as well. Like, this is why I do what I do, because it's fun to connect with you guys, help be a part of a great freaking community of people, share our love of John and gear. And if my obsession and knowledge over years of learning his gear helps you guys get better tone and be happier with your tone or have a great understanding, then that's all I want. And the fact that I get to do this and make videos and, you know, stuff is great. So it's awesome. And so I think just getting to connect with you guys on a more basis like this, for sure. I'll maybe think of even a schedule for live streams and make it a semi-regular thing. No, thank you. I appreciate it, but no, I do it because of you guys. You guys watch my videos. You guys come to a almost 2.5 hour live stream. No, thank you guys. Seriously. Arthur, you're the GOAT as well for sending me all of those clips during this live stream. So thank you. Everyone shoot him a thank you, because he and Sean as well for saying the last train home and the black one clip. Or no, or whoever sent me whatever. Anyways, if you sent me something in a live stream to use, Robert, for the pics I used at the beginning, just thank you guys. Thank you. Yeah. I get demonetized for video and audio. So that's why for the Palladium show, I'm sorry, not the Palladium show, it was the Super Bowl. For that video, I had to be very careful. The first one I did, I got demonetized on, and I had to quickly go in and re-edit it. And it's not about me wanting to make money from the channel. It's about me wanting just the fun stuff I use for the channel. If you guys want to hear a Blues Breaker cell circuit, if I can at least fund that with my YouTube channel, then at least I can, it just means I can spend more money on more things to show you guys instead of just spending my money from my actual living, if that makes sense. So that's all I really care about, is just getting enough to help fund some things for the channel. Even like my lighting rig in this new MacBook I bought in the summer for the channel, to be better editing and better webcam and stuff like that. Just stuff like that, like the aux and the Apollo stuff. It just helps fund that stuff so I can make content. That's what monetization is for my channel. Yeah, I'll have to take a look at it. We'll see. Thanks, Smith. Thanks, Brian. Yeah, you guys are all the best. Seriously. Anyways, we're gonna end it here. Thank you guys all so much for tuning in and having a great time. Hated my tone before I met your channel. I was always trying to figure things out, and wasn't going anywhere. You're the GOAT. Thank you. Seriously, getting DMs from you guys, or checking my Instagram. I'm literally getting DMs and just saying, hey, just want to say thank you. Shout out from Portugal or wherever. I get people from all over the world now messaging me on Instagram, just saying thanks. Even I never thought that would happen, and it just makes my day to read messages like this and know that I've helped you guys. So thank you all. I hope you had a good night. Happy start of Sob Rock. The Sob Rock era has officially started. I'm sure the John Mayer Gear Lounge on Facebook is going to be blowing up now and tomorrow. I'm sure my phone's been blowing up while I've been in this live stream as well. So make sure to go to the John Mayer Gear Lounge group on Facebook. Request to join if you're not in it, because it's just a community like this of people. Make sure you answer the 2 questions that are vetted for spam accounts, or else you won't get approved to come in. Most people don't know, or sometimes people don't see it. Guys, obviously, I'm sure if you hear, you're subscribed, thumbs up, all that good jazz. DuckTales, Mark, everyone, have a great night. And we'll see you on the next one.